his thoughts. So I'm okay with whatever I see and how I see it. I'm okay with it because I've learned to trust in Jesus. I do believe this. I believe that we're living in a very teacher's time, in a dark age, and that we need to really wake up and see what's going on in our surroundings, and we have the ability now to know what's going on in small towns in Kansas and over in remote areas in China through social media. So it makes the world much smaller, to us, because we're able to know things that, 20 years, 30 years ago, we just didn't know, So it seems like that seemingly things are getting worse, and they are getting worse. But and I don't, and this just me personally, being a sociologist and a theologian, I just I don't believe by what we're experiencing is coincidental. I really don't. I believe it's God's purpose to allow us to see everything that's going on, so that we can be aware of the signs of time. Because He's soon to come, and we're being set up for His coming. And He's going to crack the clouds, and he's gonna be animated and hosted in the hemisphere, and every one of us is going to see Him. And I see with modern technology, the way it is now, all of us will be able to see Him. But it's just a setup for His coming. In that, I want to talk about what I feel in my spirit about what's going on and what God is trying to say to us. It seems like there's a generational plea that comes from God through certain times. It seems like every 2,000 years there's a plea that God He mandates. He's trying to show us something to wake us up. And I think now, from what I've seen today and what I experienced as a young preacher back in the 70s, that and I know that what Peter says, in the last days there'll be scoffers walking after their own flesh, and where is the coming of His promises? Our fathers have fell asleep, things have continued as usual. But then he went on and said that the Lord is not slack concerning His promises. Many count as slackness, but He's long-suffering, willing that no man perish, but all come to repentance. That's it shows the procrastination of God also. It shows the mercy of God, that He's a God that procrastinates not by His own purpose, but He procrastinates because of mercy, because we're not where we should be. The church maybe is not where it should be. So because of that, God allows us a chance. And I was doing a reading at a funeral, and it really blew me out the water, because it says in that particular passage that in our death, God will not allow evil to overtake us, so that we won't end up in a place that we do not desire to be. So He procrastinated. He procrastinated for you. God, He procrastinated for you to give you the opportunity to build a greater relationship. If the text today is a plea from God. I've been touching on this a little bit the last couple of times I've preached, and I think that the more I see it, the more, and I'm not trying to belittle God. God He's omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. He's all of that. He's infallible, he's immutable, he's infinite. And I'm not trying to, by no means, bring God down to our level. I don't have the authority to do that. But I think that from what I read in the scripture, I was reading earlier in the scripture in the book of Genesis, I think it's around maybe the 6th chapter, when God, in the 5th verse, when God looked upon mankind, he looked upon mankind and he saw that they were, and I'm being paraphrasing. He saw that they were very wicked. He saw that man was very wicked, and they had the sons of men were fornicating with the sons of God was fornicating with daughters of men, and he saw, and this was just, and I want to remind you, this was just this period from the time that God began to grieve in his heart, from the time that God created Adam. It was no more than 300 or 400 years. No, maybe 1,000 years. Let's go with 1,000 years. And yeah, about 1,000 years. That he had got to the point where that he was grieving humanity. From the time of Adam, and we're talking about the disposition, from the disposition of innocent to the disposition of conscious. Now we're moving into the disposition of human government. When man was governed by his own humanism. From that point from Adam to Noah, he got sick and tired of mankind. That's just the bottom line. The Bible says God grieved in his heart. Listen, it said God grieved in his heart that he made man. He grieved in his heart. Now, to say that he's infallible and to say that he knew that man was going to do that, that simply says that he made a mistake maybe in creating man. But when God created man, he created us morally free. We are the only specks of God's creation that who have freedom of choice. So we have that. We have free will to choose. And God doesn't get into your will of choice. He allows you to choose what you desire to choose, but then you suffer the consequences in the choices that you made. But he's still good enough and he's still gracious enough that even though in our choices he always make a way for us to escape what we're getting ready to do or what we already got into. It seems like we already got into it, so he got an escape plan. You understand what I'm saying? He knows that we're going to get into some things, so he's got an escape plan. The Bible says the Lord is not, what is that scripture? Lord help me. I'm losing my thought. Not uncommon to all men, but in every sin, God makes a way for an escape. Yeah, God always makes it a way for an escape. So if there's an escape plan, that simply says that maybe that somewhere down the line we're gonna make a mistake. That escape plan is a plan B. He's willing that no man perish, but all come into repentance. Little children, I'm writing to you that you sin. Now, first of all, I don't want you to sin. That's what God has said. I don't want you to sin. I don't want you to miss the mark. But I got an escape plan. Just in case you do. I got an escape plan. God always have a way for us to come out of what we got in. Let me say that again. God always have a way for us to come out of what we get in. God will not allow us to stay in what we're in. Because when we get in what we in, abnormal becomes normal. So God always allows us to come out of what we're in to keep us from losing our mind. But he grieved in his heart that he made man. So if he grieved in his heart over some 4,000 years ago that he made man, can you imagine what he's thinking now? God help us.
Thank you for your mercy and grace.
I mean, and see, this is before the law. This was during the human government. This is before God gave Moses the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai. And they were governed by their own humanism. In other words, they said, whatever you think is right, that's what you do. And God got tired of even their decision making when he gave them the right to choose whatever you want to do or whatever you feel is right. So now you look at us today and look what's going on. That's why I say there's a plea from God. Oh God, I say help us, Lord. There is a plea from God. Listen what it says. Oh my people, Micah, the sixth chapter of Micah. He said, oh my people. Whenever you see the word oh by itself, that's a plea. Whenever you see the word oh by itself, that word oh is a plea. You hear what I'm saying? It's a plea. So now he's and not only it's a oh that's filled with emotions. You know, now he's getting, and I want you to understand what I'm saying. He's putting some feelings into it. Yeah. We talked about today, fight a good fight, and fight the good fight of faith. We talked about that in Sunday school. And we emphasize that sometimes you have to get to the point where you have to fight, and you have to be aggressive in your fight. For the kingdom of heaven suffer violence, and violence taken by force. So now God he's putting some emotions in what, and whenever you see that, word beseech, that word beseech in Greek is perakilo, which may not call to your attention. And in actuality, if you would reference this particular word "oh" with beseech, they're first cousins. One is in the Old Testament and the other one's in the New. So God is really trying to catch our attention. Listen to what he said. Oh, my people. God, help us. What have I done unto thee? Now this is God saying, have God done anything to anybody? This is what he says. He says, and where have I wearied thee? Testify against me. God has said, what have I done to make you feel the way you feel toward me? This is him talking to Israel. He said, what have I done to make you feel? What have I done to make you feel the way you feel toward me? Pray with me, please. Why have I worried thee? I mean, what have I done to make you be weary toward me? You know, in a relationship, sometimes in a relationship, one person is giving everything that they have to make the relationship work. And it seems like the other person is always, they the one that's always downtrodden. And you trying to figure out, what have I done to make you feel this way? Right. Why are you feeling like this? I mean, haven't I been good to you? Don't I take care of you? And this is what God is saying in this relationship with us. He said, have I done anything to make you feel the way you feel toward me? I want you to get into that, because that's God, who's the creator of all universe, of all humanity, is talking to the Lord. Man is the lowest form of God's creation. God created man out of dust. Everything else he spoke by the word of faith he framed, everything else he spoke into existence. But when he created man, he saw earth. He said, I'm going to pick earth, and I'm going to create man from a particle of earth, and he created us from dust. And dust is not even dirt. You can grow things in dirt. What can you do with dust? Once you throw dust up in the air, it evaporates. So he created us from dust, not from dirt. He didn't dig into dirt and create us. He just gathered us from the dust that was on top of the dirt. God help us. And he created us from that. And then he imploded into that, and it became a living soul. So we're created from God's lowest form of his creation. And we have the audacity to make God ask us, what have we done to him? What have I done to you? This is what he said. What have I done to you? Why are you weary of me? Testify against me. In other words, you stand on the witness stand and you testify. I want you to tell me what I've done to you. That's something missing. He's talking to humanity. What have I to make you feel the way you feel, to cause you to do what you do, for you to live the way you live? I want to know, what have I done? Did I do anything to make you weary of me? And I said, Lord, help me. Come on, are you I mean, to be weary of God, the songwriter said, when I think of the goodness of Jesus and all that he's done for me, my soul cries out, hallelujah. To be weary of a God that sustains you, to be weary of a God that keeps you, to be weary of a God that provides for you, to have the audacity to get upset at God for anything, to me is ridiculous. And this is what he's saying. What have I done to you? Why are you weary of me? Can I put it in layman's terms? Can I put it in today's terms? Yeah. Why you don't study your Bible? Why you don't pray? God help us. Why you don't clap your hands? Why you don't stump your feet? Why you don't give me praises? Those are things. Help us, Holy Ghost. Those are things that God noticed when we come into the house of God. We come into the house of God lackadaisical. We come into the house of God like we're mad at God. You come into my house and you don't speak to me. You sit down at my dinner table and you don't thank me for feeding you. And you sit on my couch that I bought, and you don't thank me for it. I'm saying this is what God is saying. He said, what have I done? This is what he said. I brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. I brought you out of sin. God help us. Somebody said, help us. Help us. He brought us out of where we came from. You couldn't do it. If you could do it, you would have done it a long time ago. You can't bring yourself out of your situation. You can't. Wherever you were, there's no way you could have got out of it on your own. Amen. Help us, Holy Ghost. I looked at one of the young ladies in Sunday school. I said, how long you been saved? She said, I've been long since I said, how long you been saved? She said, I've been saved since I've been 12. I said, ain't no way in the world you can save that long without God. Come on. There's nowhere in the world that you can stay saved that long without God. Somebody say, help us, Holy Ghost. I don't care if you're struggling, straining. I don't care what you're doing. If you're trying to stay with him, God's got to be in it some kind of way. Yes, sir. Yes. Am I right? So true. Yes. And I say, Lord, help us. Yes. Somebody say, Lord, help us. Lord, help us. He said, you got to be in this. And I brought you up out of Egypt and redeemed thee out of the house of the servants and sent me before then Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. I'm the one who did that. Oh, my people, remember now what Balak, the king of Moab, consulted, and what the Balaam, the son of Beer, answered him from Shittim until Gilgal, that you may know the righteousness of the Lord. I'm the one I got you out of trouble. I'm the one that healed your body. I'm the one that delivered you. I'm the one that set you free. I'm the one that opened those doors for you. Doors that were shut, God opened. Every door that's been opened in your life, God did. Things do not happen by perhaps or by coincidence or circumstance. Everything that happens in our life, God does it for us. And listen, I want you to hear what I'm saying. God is the one that opened doors for us. Yeah. I'm telling you something. The system is against you. The world is against you. And if it was up to them, they would rather see you just go somewhere and hide. So they try to prevent you from when you get in a place on your job, you change the atmosphere. Help me, somebody. When you come into that school, when you come into that factory, when you go into the office, you change the atmosphere. And they don't want the atmosphere to be changed. Oh, I wish I could. They like them to stay as usual. But when you come in, you bring God with you. Yee! Somebody say, help us over there. And they don't want God in the atmosphere. They don't want God in the midst. They don't want to hear you pray. They don't want to hear you sing songs. They don't want to see you lift up your hand. They don't want to hear you talk about God. You bring God in the atmosphere. So the enemy tries everything he can to keep you from coming there. So when you get somewhere, it's got to be God that open up the door. Lord. Y'all not praying with me. It's got to be God that open up the door. Because your pure presence changes. You know what I'm talking about. It changes the atmosphere. That's why when people are talking and you walk up, they stop talking. God help me today. That's why when folks cursing and you walk up, they stop cursing. Oh, I wish I had some help today. So the devil does everything. The enemy, the world, the system does everything to prevent you from being in the right place at the right time. Listen what it says. Wherein shall I come before the Lord? And by myself before the high God shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with calves a year? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams? Now he's being sarcastic. He said, you bring all these sacrifices to me. You bring rams and you bring goats. You bring pigeons. He said, should I be pleased with that? Should I be pleased with what you bring to me when I know that you're weary of me, that you're not feeling it? You know, it's like giving somebody a gift and really don't mean it. You know, when you walk away, say, oh, God. You know what I'm saying? You know that. You know people like that. When you ask people to do stuff in the church, they say, yeah, I do it, Pastor. When they get off the phone, oh, God. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, why you call me? You know what I'm saying? God said, he said, I know what you're doing, but the thing about God, and I said, Lord, help us. He knows your heart.
Amen.
Thank you, Lord. He knows your heart.
Thank you, Lord.
You know what I'm saying? He knows your heart. He knows your heart. And he know when you're doing it from your heart. And that's why he's having this conversation with these folks. Because everything before God is transparent right through them. And why are you bringing these sacrifices and you don't love me? God help us. I wish I had some help in here. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Yeah. You know, the scripture Revelation says, he said, I have somewhat against you. You know, he said, I want to have you hot or cold because you're lukewarm, through your mouth. He said, but then he went on and said, I have somewhat against you. He said, I got something against you. So what do you have? He said, because you left. What he said? He said, you left me first. He said, you don't love me like you used to love me. God. Do you still love him like you fell in love with him on the day that he saved you? Do you still love him like you loved him when you found out that you had cancer and he healed you? Come on, somebody. Do you still love him when your child came home and said, Dad, Mom, I was almost in a car accident, but the car just whirled right around me? Do you still love him like you love him when he does something for you? Because see, like when he's doing something for us, we have a tendency to love him more. Am I right, somebody? Yeah. We wanna thank him when he's doing something. Now we become his servant by what he does for us. Yeah. And we love him because of what he's doing for us. But over the years, as the years go by, and you feel like you really can do some things on your own, and things done got better. You're not living like you used to live. You're not living week to week anymore. Oh, I wish I had some help. Yeah, you got a brand new car and a nice home, and your children got their education, and you're doing what you want to do. Yeah. And see, people when people feel like they've made it in society, they kind of have a tendency to forget about God. Yeah. the lifestyle that they used to live, they start getting shaky with it. They don't live like they used to live, and they don't walk like they used to walk. They don't pray like they used to pray. And see, this is where we are now. God said to them, listen, I know where I brought you from. I know every situation that you were in. And I found you when you was polluted in your own blood. He said, I'm the one that picked you up. Have I asked somebody? I'm the one that picked you up. I'm the one that turned you around. See, God saw you where you were. And he met you where you were. They called you by your sin. They brand you by your sin. They didn't call you by your name. They called you by your problem. They called you by your habit. They called you a crackhead. That was your name. Here come that old crackhead. You know what I'm talking about. Here come that old drunk. That's what they called you. They didn't even call you by your name. But I'm so glad God knows me by my name. Say, yeah. He knows you. God knows you. He knows you by your name. He knows every hair that's upon your head. God knows. He knows you're going in and you're going out. God knows. He knows you're down rising and you're up rising. God knows. He knows what you're feeling, how you're feeling. God knows. He knows every hurt, every pain that's in your body. God knows. He knows every trouble and every struggle in your life. God knows. He knows when you feel like it and you don't feel like it. God knows. He knows when you're struggling and you're strengthening. He knows. God knows everything about you. He knows the good in you, and he knows the bad. Have I right, somebody? But I'm so glad we serve a good God. We serve a just God. We serve a loving God. We serve a God that could have cut us out a long time ago. What God? He's so good to us. In spite of us, he's better than good. He's better than loving. He's better than kindness. Say yeah. Talk to me, Jesus. Talk to me, Jesus. Tell me all about me. Everything that's in me that should be. Talk to me, Jesus. Tell me my shortcomings. Talk to me, Jesus. Tell me my failures. Talk to me, Jesus. I want to know what you want me to do. I want to know where you want me to go. Say yeah. You gotta want him to talk to you. It's all right when he's talking to you. It's all right when he's talking to you. Because when he's talking to you, that simply means he loves you. Lord, when he's whipping you, when you do wrong, that means he's loving you. That doesn't mean that he pushed you aside. It means that he loves you. And I'm so glad God loves me, brother, in spite of me. Yeah. So here he is now. He said, what I want you to do. He said, Lord, what you want us to do? He said, I want you to love mercy. He said, do justly and walk humbly. That's what I want you to do. I want you to do what's right, pleasing in my sight, and the things that you can't do. The Bible says, Jesus said I can do. The Bible said, God said I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. God will be your strength. Yeah. You feel like you can't do it. Watch God do it for you. God will be there. God will hold your hand. Want to do it, somebody. I know sometimes it feels hard. I know sometimes you want to throw in the towel. I know you want to give up. But God, he's got your back. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, God got your back. And he promised you he will never leave you nor forsake He pleads with us.
Hallelujah.
He pleads. God pleads with us. Come on, son. Come on, daughter, do right. Do the right thing.
Yeah.
I'll help you.
Yeah.
He pleads with us
Thank
to
you.
do what is right
Do what is right.
and what is pleasing.
Mm.
Even when he get weary of us, he gave them options. So okay, this is what I want you to do. I don't want no more burnt sacrifices. Don't bring no more pigeons or doves and no she-goats. Just do this. Love mercy, do justly, and walk humbly. Just do those things. That's all I want you to do. That's all I want you to do. And that'll be enough to please me. What are you doing? Really think about it. What do you actually do to please God?
My Lord. My Lord.
Are you trying to please God?
My Lord.
Ask yourself the question. Am I really trying to please
My
Him?
God.
You can't please Him by slipping and sliding, dipping and dodging. You can't please Him by
Help us. Help us.
every morning when you wake up, intentionally and conscientiously, you gotta say, I'm gonna please God this day. You know something? And I'm closing. When I wake up in the morning with a seasoned prayer, and I read my Bible, you know, and I'm intentional about that day, my day goes so much better. You can't afford to wake up and just go about your day. It's too much out there waiting on you.
Too much. Too much.
You got to put things in flight. You got to put things in the air. You got to let the enemy know that this is what I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you with. And you got to pray. God, help me to be better today. This is my prayer. Every day, help me to be better today than what I was on yesterday. The flesh is a booger. The flesh is a booger. You got a war. We've got a war on our hands. And we got to fight. And we got to intentionally be on guard. Because God is pleased with us. Do better, son. Do better, daughter. You don't have to keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? If you're going through with somebody or something, when you're faced with that